Hi, okay, let's see. Let's just do a mic test and wait for about 5 minutes before we start today. So tonight I have Dan with us, Ken and Jared. So tonight we're gonna talk about Angrymals and Catheon Gaming. So they're a new company. Angrymals is not a new company. I'm sorry. Angrymals has been an old company that has entered the play to earn space recently. I think they've been in development for quite a while now. I think over a few years, and I think Ken and Dan has a lot to share about tonight. We're going to hear quite a bit of two different companies, and Prominence is so happy to be a part of them. I think over here we have Jared, we have Dan, Ken. Jared, would you like to introduce yourself first?
Yeah, hi guys. My name is Jared. I am the partnerships lead for Prominence Games.
Well, you could share a bit more about yourself. Ken, you don't have to be so reserved, my friend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so a bit of background for me. I recently joined the company about a month and a half back. Before that, I actually had nothing to do with crypto at all, or GameFi, or any of this NFT stuff. I was actually a boxing coach for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Um, and I was introduced to crypto about a year ago through a friend, and now we're here.
Yeah, I think play to earn or GameFi is a totally new space, and being just 1.5 months in, you are probably still newer than most of the people that are going to be here in this.
Oh yeah,
So
for
welcome
sure,
on
for
board,
sure.
Jared. I
Thank you.
think maybe Dan can take his turn to introduce himself.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everybody. So I've been a game developer since a long time, but several years ago, I funded my own company called Sionera Entertainment, and we started working on Angrymals. That is the game we're going to speak about today. And this changed dramatically. So we had a huge boost forward since we partnered with Catheon Games, but this is something that probably Ken is going to take care of and explaining a little bit later.
Great, great. Honestly, I love founders who actually sponsor their own projects as well. It shows their passion for the space and how much they really believe in their projects. To me, that's a big sell, man. And I look forward to hearing more from you later. I hear you mention a bit about Cation, which is something Ken is going to share about. Maybe Ken, you'd like to share a bit about that.
Yeah, sure. Hi, guys. My name is Ken. I used to work in finance, but for around 6 years, and I joined up Catheon Gaming around early December. Always been an avid gamer my whole life. Have been investing in blockchain for the past 2 years, and when the GameFi movement took off, I thought it was the right time for me to join, given that I love blockchain technology and I love video gaming, so the two really made sense for me. I joined a company called Catheon Gaming. What it does is it basically takes traditional video games that are very fun and bring them to the blockchain. And the reason why we do that is because the current games in blockchain space, although they have very high valuations, they tend not to be that fun. So we think that the best way to do things is to get fun games and convert them to blockchain and run that project so they go to market very quickly.
Right. That's really clever of you. I mean, I love the fact that you guys partnered up, and I think GameFi is really the future. You're right to say that in this moment, a lot of games are in development of the play to earn space. But as gamers, we all know what we're looking for. We're looking for fun. We're looking to play games not just for the sake of money. We're looking to play games with one another for the community, for the
Mhm.
competition. That's what gamers do, right?
Mhm,
So
mhm.
I see we're at 7:05 now. Maybe we just jump right into it, right? Let's keep the focus on Angry Mails for tonight, right? So, short introduction. Maybe you could share with us what is Angry Mail all about.
Sure. To put it simple, Angrymals is a multiplayer mobile game that takes inspiration from two very successful games, traditional games that are Worms and Angry Birds. And it, from a technical perspective, this is a physics-based tactical action game. Put it simple, it's just taking some very interesting mechanics from both Angry Birds and Worms, mixing them together, and adding a lot of interesting features on top. A very simple way to imagine it right now, if you didn't have a chance to look at the video or to try it yet because it's available, you have three animals garrisoned inside of a fortress made up of junk, and your opponent has the same other three animals inside another fortress. Shot after shot, you have to try to destroy the opponent's fortress and get rid of his animals before he does the same with yours. So it's kind of a race against time to try to defeat the opponent before he does the same with you.
Okay, I hear two familiar names, right? I'm not sure if most of you know, but Worms is a game from like my teenagers. I've been playing Worms for quite a while. There was one issue with it back then. I think it was like a single player game where you have to use the same phone and then you pass your phone to your friend to and fro, or something like that, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
It was a couch multiplayer in the beginning, so you
Yeah.
gather
Yeah.
together and
Yeah,
play
and
together.
I'm sure everyone knows Angry Birds. Like, who doesn't recognize the red bird, right? So I think it's interesting to see a mix of the two. So tell me about when it was started to develop. When you found this project and what it was like to find this project?
Well, the idea is pretty old. It's almost 11 years old. It's actually my brother's idea because he thought, why we don't have a multiplayer mode in Angry Birds? Why cannot I face a real challenge against a real opponent instead of just playing it as a puzzle game? A few years later, we actually started the development of that. Especially since we gathered a lot of feedback about the community. We ran a successful crowdfunding campaign in 2015. We attended several events, live events, in which we gathered a lot of feedback and suggestions from the users, from the players. So that allowed us to come up with not just another Angry Birds clone, because we had plenty of them, but we have been able to mix interesting features together, like the physics-based approach with all these blocks breaking and falling according to the laws of physics. Tons of different weapons that behaves in a totally different way. You have rubber chicken that explodes. You have eels that shock your enemies by having this electricity running through metallic pieces. You have fire that puts everything that is like wooden made can catch fire and spread fire and burn your opponents. So all these twists on the gameplay have been boosted with special attacks, because we have several races you can play with, and every single race has different special attacks, from a crazy seagull driving a car and crashing against the opponent's fortress, to flaming meatballs falling from the skies, earthquakes. So a lot of things you can try to leverage on to destroy your opponent's fortress. But we didn't stop at changing the actual gameplay. We also changed the way the players think of the game, because we added the possibility to design your own fortresses. So you have an in-game editor you can use to create your own fortresses. And if that's not enough, we put an internal marketplace called the Bazaar inside of the game. So if you want to leverage on your skills, if you are a very creative designer, you can sell your creations to other players. Right now, you gain some in-game currencies. In the near future, you will gain real money, but we are going to speak about that later on. And if you are lazy, if you are not into designing fortresses, no big deal. You can just purchase other players' ones. Plus, there's a ranked mode, because we know that this game has a strong appeal over the, let's say, competitive playing, like I would say esports like players, because especially we saw that especially the ranked mode, when you kind of actually stand out from the others if you are really skilled, is one of the features that the players are asking for the most. They are trying to play that most of the time. So there's a lot of things that we think make Angrymals a totally different game compared to these inspirations. And there's still a lot of room for improvements, like tournament and other features that we can discuss later on. Sorry, this went a bit long, but I wanted to give.
No, it's ask you anything, man. You can take your time, man. All yours. Night is all yours, man. Right.
You're right. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean that sounds really interesting. How the game works and all that. You mentioned a marketplace actually. Maybe Ken, you can elaborate a bit more about that. How does the economics, the NFT, the tokenomics behind the game, the play to earn aspect, how does that play into this already very interesting sounding game?
Yeah, sure. So the play to earn economy here, we built it on top of the existing economy. So right now, there's an existing in-game economy with coins and gems, which are soft and hard currencies that's purchased using fiat, and they're used to unlock skins and weapons. Separate from that, we have the play to earn economy, which consists of the NFTs and the token system. And for the token system, we have an in-game token called Chaos Shards and an on-chain token called Chaos Orbs. How the play to earn element works is that each player will get a small amount of Chaos Shards every day by things like daily logins and doing missions, stuff like that. They can then use those shards to wager on matches with other players, where if they win, they take the shards from the other players. So it's a play to earn evolved into a win to earn model.
Okay.
That sounds really interesting. That's cool. Okay. So if a player wins, you actually take all the shards from
Yes,
from your foe. Okay. Awesome. Awesome.
So it looks like it's really gonna be a blood royale in there, man. Like winner takes all kind of models, something like that. I don't know. Sounds fierce, man.
it
No
is.
wonder you
It is.
mentioned
It is very
esports.
fierce. Yeah, it is fierce. And then this is why we think it's a little bit different to how other games in the market work. So, for example, for Axie Infinity, maybe you can earn like a set amount of smooth love potions every day, limited by energy. But in Angrymals, you can play against other players, and if you're good enough, there's really no upper limit to the amount of chaos shards or chaos orbs you can earn.
So a very
Okay.
skill-based kind of game.
Yes, yes, it's
Very
very
nice.
simple but very hard to master.
All right. Okay. Okay. So what kind of? I mean, this is totally on my own, right? No one asked me this. I'm just curious. So when you get enough chaos shards, you mentioned like, can we do something like buying an NFT with it when we can do more things with that? Like, could you elaborate on what kind of loot boxes you have in the game, if any, or any NFT related stuff? I think a lot of our audience here recently got really hyped into NFTs, and
Mhm.
might be good for you to explain and elaborate a little bit more about it.
Yeah, sure. So how it works is that our design philosophy is to cater to both the traditional gamers and the blockchain gamers. We don't want to force the traditional gamers to have to convert to blockchain. So how the system works is everyone can play the game and earn chaos shards. It's only when you want to start monetizing the chaos shards that you need to buy an NFT. Buy an NFT either via upcoming mints or via loot boxes. You gain the ability to convert these chaos shards to chaos orbs, and with these chaos orbs, you can either use them to buy more NFTs, you can use them to buy NFTs on the marketplace, or you can choose to sell them on chain, which is how you monetize the orbs, and that's where the earn element comes in.
Okay. So, I mean, we're here from Prominence, right? And we're looking to play a game. So, I just want to know, like, how do guilds like Prominence fit into your ecosystem? Seem like scholarship friendly? We want to talk about that, man.
Yeah, sure. So guilds are a very important part of our ecosystem. Number one, we love prominence and the ability for us to get the message of a game out there. And then additionally, we like you guys to kind of contribute scholars to the game, and our game is definitely very scholar friendly. As I mentioned before, I think the model for scholar selection might need to be a bit more selective in this for Angrymals, because what you guys will probably need to do is you need to find the players who are very good at the game, who have above average win rates, because those kind of players will be the ones that can generate profit consistently for you guys.
Oh, okay. Sounds interesting.
Awesome. Sounds
You
good.
know,
So I'm hearing a lot about very interesting gameplay, physics-based, skill-based. Guilds have to be selective with their scholars because it's skill-based, and that kind of limits or hard caps how much you can earn, because if you're not good enough, um, you're gonna find yourself not earning as much. It's really interesting. So what are the long-term goals for the game? Are we looking at some esports, some tournaments? What is in the roadmap?
Yeah, sure. You mentioned tournaments, and this is a feature that we are working hard on because we are now running what you can call manual tournaments. So we have our Discord staff dedicated to that. And every weekend, for instance, today, we will have another tournament running. Every weekend, we have a tournament running. This time, we have around 100 people playing the tournament. And this is now, something that is run outside of the game. But what we want to introduce is the ability to have tournaments run just inside of the game without all the hassle of, exchanging messages, making sure that the person is available at that specific time, and so on. And it will also give us more variety because we can introduce some twists for every tournament. For instance, we had our current champion is Dice Life, is super skilled, and since people weren't willing to play against him anymore, he just came up with a compromise. Like, why don't we play with one of the most random behavior weapon we have in the game? So the gummy bear, that is a weapon that every time you shoot that, the projectile that is a gummy bear can randomly catch fire or shock nearby blocks or explode. So it's kind of unpredictable, and they actually had that twist. I'm telling that because tournaments, we can also have upcoming tournaments based on some particular rules every time, so that you're not playing the same tournament twice, and you are not, let's say, encouraging the same people to win over and over again. But of course, the more skilled you are, the highest the chance you have. If you are very good with every weapon, yeah, well, you're be, let's say, more likely to come up in the first places in the tournament. This is not the only feature we are aiming at. For tournaments as well, we are willing to have a kind of, let's say, streaming or spectator mode that could be integrated in the game. We are working on a VIP ticket. So right now, if you don't, let's say that you are lazy enough and you don't even want to go to the bazaar and purchase other people fortresses and try them every time, but you just want to try a lot of them, you purchase this VIP token. In every match, you will have 3 random fortresses taken from the bazaar, and you can try them. And if you like them, you can then purchase them with a discount. So this is how the VIP ticket will look like. We are working on a story mode because we know that some people are not comfortable in going in the real world competition against real life opponents if they are not skilled enough. So with a single player story mode, they have the chance to, get more acquainted in the game, more used to, more skilled, and they can probably be more confident when going in the real world arena. Another idea that came from our current champion is, why don't we have a mode in which it's a hybrid mode between people good at designing fortresses and people good at playing games. So you have 5 minutes. We give you both a random set of blocks, and in that 5 minutes, you have to put together the best fortress you can. After that, you play the match using that fortresses. So you see, there's a lot of things. I can speak about collectible cards that unlock special game modes, like the projectile goes out from a side and comes back from the other, or different gravity, or increasing fire damage. So giving more variety to matches. But of course, there's a lot of things we can do. And what we always try to do is to, gauge the feeling, the mood of the community again, for these new additions, and try to prioritize which ones are the most interesting, let's say, for them. And this can also be another usage for our Chaos Orbs. So we plan to have our Chaos Orbs used also as a governance token. So when we are about to choose which kind of development we should prioritize, people that holds these chaos orbs can vote on that and decide the fate of the game.
Oh, okay. I mean, I've heard a lot of things. I'm actually a fan of games who have a bit of complexity to it. Like there's a lot of easy turn-based games. They just revolve around the battle itself. I see you've taken it in a macro level, right? You've designed fortresses, designed, like you mentioned, collectibles. You've even added map variations where one projectile can fly from one side and come back from the other. Honestly, this sounds this sounds pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. I think some games out there have already stunned me. This sounds like one of the games where layers added are just nice to attract players, and I think you hear more from the community. I think it's great that you focus on the community. I mean, eventually the other one's playing your game. We ought to appease the community. End of the day, we want the community to be as happy as they can, so we can keep playing your game on and over and over and over and over again. I mean, I heard about the guy who dominated the top, right? I think Angrymals will find a way to develop new games, new game modes or new weapons for this guy, man. You gotta nerf this guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
You gotta nerf this guy, man.
We
So
need to balance the game for that guy.
yeah, you gotta balance the game, man. When he logs in, something's gonna be different. So I mean, let's focus on the community, right? Since you mentioned that, what are some of the more exciting features that the community should be aware of? And is there something that we should be looking out for? I mean, we're really excited to take part, man. You gotta share some of this stuff with us.
Yeah, for sure. Let's say the play to earn mode, because this is something huge and it's happening in a month, give it or take. So this is something that you can really look forward to. Should you wait for that entire month? My suggestion is no. You should pick up the game today, because when the play to earns kicks in, you already are skilled. You already know how to design fortresses, the best ones. You already know which are the most powerful weapons against that particular building blocks or race or whatever. So the more skilled you get in this month, the better the chances you will have when the real play to earn mode kicks in. For people just approaching the game, I'd say that one feature you probably don't expect is the designer itself. Because if you just quickly look at the game and it looks like Angry Birds, you don't expect a designer to be there. But this is something that could be a really satisfying, a really satisfying experience. And also, we mentioned that you have to be skilled to earn in the game. You have to win matches, but this is not all. It's not only winning matches that gives you money, it's designing exceptional fortresses. Right now, I received, just yesterday, I received a message from a friend that was shocked because his girlfriend, he's earning a lot of coins in the bazaar right now because she designed a very cool fortress, and a lot of people are purchasing that, and he's kind of envying her for this kind of success in the bazaar. And when the actual chaos shards will be also used as a way to pay for these fortresses, you can earn real money also based on that.
Yeah, Daniela, just out of interest, how many different designs of the fortresses do we have in the bazaar at the moment?
Oh, thousands. It's now thousands. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
This sounds really interesting. I think it's really important. So the game sounded really very skill based at the start, and while that appeals to your more hardcore kind of esports interested kind of enthusiasts that prefer skill based games, it's also good to cater to the crowd that is more interested in the creative side of it, the casual side of it. Well, it's not even that casual, right? Fortress designing can be really complex and game defining, right? Whether you win or lose, it really depends on how your fortress is designed. So I think it really sounds cool and well thought out. So you mentioned a month's time the play to earn aspect is going to come out. But what about the minting for the NFTs, the assets, whitelisting maybe?
Yeah, so on the minting, we're in discussions with some of the biggest NFT, Solana NFT launchpads out there. In terms of our whitelist, we've almost got 2,300, 2,400 whitelist slots filled out. So I think in terms of the timeline, we expect it to be done in around 2 to 3 weeks, and we'll be able to share more details around that once we finalize our negotiations with the launch pads and questions. So in the meantime, you can come to our server and check out where the progress is at.
Sounds good. Definitely awesome.
I think to check out their server, we'll probably link them in the comment section below. So do check that out. Something interesting was posted right at the start. You mentioned, and I'm sure we are in the know of this, is that Catheon Gaming is now working with Angrymals, right? And I heard that Angrymals was acquired from CNR Entertainment, right, in January sometime this year. So
Mhm.
actually, aside from the move, what's drive this move? When you decide to join blockchain, turn it into a play to earn game in the upcoming month? I know it's a big thing, but I just want to hear it from you. Like, what's with this huge move from Play Store to App Store into ending play to earn GameFi? Big solid
Yeah,
move, but let's hear it from you, man.
yeah, sure. So let's say that since we are not a we weren't a huge development team, so we've been spending a couple of years looking for publishers, and we run some tests with them. Um, let's say that tests went pretty good, so the metrics were good. There was a good retention. We have an amazing play time, so people are playing the game a lot every day, like 1 hour, almost 1 hour every day on average. And we were not so happy with the partnership we could potentially have with other publishers because everyone looked pretty slow. Like answering emails was something taking weeks, and it's not something you can do when you want to scale up quickly. And then Catheon showed up. Ken actually showed up and introduced us this new opportunity that was partnering with Catheon Gaming. And Catheon Gaming was really, really passionate about the game from the very beginning. They have an enormous firepower in terms of marketing, in terms of everything related to the blockchain. That is something that we wanted to do, but we didn't have any, expertise on that. So partnering with Catheon Gaming have been almost a no-brainer. It's something that, it's too good to be true. Let's do that. And in terms of blockchain, as I mentioned, it's something we already wanted to do. Why? Well, if you look at the game itself is mostly a community-based game because first of all, it's a multiplayer game. Without the community, you have no people to play with. And also, fortresses, this is user-generated content. So the community, the users, the players are creating the fortress, are putting more variety in the game. So we wanted a way for these players that are so engaged with the game to get rewarded somehow. And the blockchain is kind of the most, the smartest way to do that. Because as we mentioned, players putting effort on the game, so becoming skilled in winning matches, becoming good at designing fortresses, investing time and passion, and they also have fun, but they are also investing some time in it. This way, they can be rewarded by just going play to earn and taking out these chaos shards, converting them to chaos orbs that are then living on the blockchain.
Yep, this sounds like a really smart move, and I agree. I think one of the biggest advantages that GameFi brings to the gaming industry, is that it really rewards players for the time and effort that they spent on the games. They bring back some sort of financial reward, and I think that's really, really important for the landscape going forward. Awesome. Maybe Ken, would you like to elaborate a bit more about Catheon Gaming? What else is it that makes Catheon Gaming special? Um, would you like to elaborate?
Yeah, sure. So I guess on the Catheon Gaming side, what we do and what we try to do, what is our main goal? We want to bring quality blockchain games to the market very quickly. As I mentioned before, right now, I think that in the market, the level of gameplay value for existing blockchain games isn't very high. Now, you can either build new games yourself, starting from scratch, which takes a very long time, and you don't really know the result because a lot of times you can develop a game, take a long time, it comes out, it's not fun. So we want to avoid that part of the risk. We want to pick traditional games, existing games that we know have very high gameplay value. We test it. Actually, my job at Catheon Gaming, I just play games. I check whether they're fun, and then I run a project to convert them into the blockchain game. And that's part of what we do. When we work with existing games, we can be sure of the gameplay value. And then with our massive resources, I think we have a 200 plus person team now. We can focus our community on project execution, on making sure that the project gets all the community marketing support that it deserves, so that it can come to the market very, very quickly and as a highly complete, high quality project.
Oh, that sounds
Awesome.
amazing. A 200 plus team to support Angrymals, then I think you're
Mhm.
in for a treat, man. I think it's kudos to you, man. So, I mean, now you're new. I mean, GameFi is really new. Catheon Gaming seems like a big player in game, or going to be at least. What are some of the long-term goals you have looking at this space? I mean, for you to identify this space so early in times of crypto, you must have seen something or you must know something. Some of the long-term goals you have as well.
Yeah, I think the long-term goal for us is that we want to become the top blockchain gaming company and really be known as the Steam of blockchain gaming. So for traditional games, Steam is the largest distribution platform. Whenever you think about a game or whenever you want to buy a game, you would go onto Steam first to log in and check out what games there are or to download it. We want to do the same, but for blockchain games as well. And that's part of our long-term strategy. We will aim to partner with games, either as we're doing now for Angrymals, or we'll work with them in like a distribution capacity where we'll aim to list them on our marketplace, and so other people can see them and increase their exposure to gamers worldwide.
Right. What are some of the features being part of Catheon Gaming? Like, share something a bit more technical for us, man. I'm sure some of our viewers would love to know a little
Yeah,
bit.
sure. So in terms of whenever you partner with Catheon Gaming, the way we do it is that we provide a software service called the Catheon Gaming Center, which is basically like a Steam login. And when you log into that, it will integrate with wallets, and you can kind of it allows you, for example, when you play the Angrymals games, you can buy NFTs via the Catheon Gaming Center, and then you click a button, and you log into Angrymals with your Catheon Gaming Center login, and it will activate the NFTs for you in the game. In addition to that, it will have a lot of other features such as managing your NFTs. When it comes to scholars, we'll be able to do NFT renting and scholarship revenue shares. That's all done outside of the game on the Catheon Gaming Center rather than inside the game. And there's a bunch of other things that we're working on. Catheon Gaming Center is something that sets us apart from our competitors, and is something that we're working on right now.
Oh, so seems like Catheon Gaming has a lot to offer for especially games who aspire to enter the play to earn space. I do think that you provide quite a bit of value for them. So for gamers or game developers out there who are looking to do something, Ken Loa is your guy here. Seems like the right guy for everything.
Call
So
me.
yeah, call him, man. Leave your number down below somewhere. Right. So I think we have surmised what the questions what questions the guild have for you. Let's open the questions to the floor. I'm gonna scroll through YouTube questions real quick, and we'll ask some questions for you guys. So let's see. Let me scroll. Let's see. I see a interesting question. Okay, from Diana. So the question is, if we play now, because your mint is like 1 month later, or your NFT game is 1 month later, right? If you
Mhm.
play now, would your progress be resetted when the minting start?
No, your progress will not be resetted. So I think what Diana means is that when the play to earn version releases, will there be a reset? How it's gonna work is that there's gonna be like an update on the game. So when you have a new version of the game on the Play Store App Store, you just press an update button and the new version rolls in. That's how we expect the play to earn version to be updated on the mobile devices. So we don't think there'll be resetting of the progress. And because of the way that Angry Mode works, no matter how high your level is or how low your level is, it doesn't really matter on the battlefield. Your shots still hit with the same power. So it's the skill that matters, the skill that you built up from playing the game. So there's no disadvantage or advantage from your levels as such, just your skill.
Okay. So another interesting question that I'm hearing is from Mil Arthur Relano. Having said that everyone can play with or without NFT, is there a ranking system for aspiring scholars to reach in order to deserve a spot for a scholarship? Okay, the truth is, I think this is a really good question because not every time a scholar gets the chance to even get the assets to play the game. But if you can introduce a system like that, I think it would be very interesting because then maybe potential managers or sponsors can find the right scholars to play for them. Since ultimately this is like a skill-based game, right? Maybe you could share more about that as well.
Yeah, I think that's a question that Daniela can expand more on. But I expect in the future to be able to share data about players, such as their win rate. So like games like Dota and LoL, they have a lot of data related to the players. For example, their best heroes, their best weapons, what their win rate is. I think we can do the same for Angrymals, and guilds will be able to use that as like a data source for picking the best players. Daniela?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Especially when it comes to tournaments. You can select your team carefully, maybe, so you can have them with the higher chances to reach the top. And since we are also having let's say longer event that will reward players for being in the top positions of the ranked mode, this will have huge prize pool. And this is something that if you are looking at people that are both skilled and playing consistently, playing frequently, to make sure that they climb what we call the ranked volcano in the game, to reach the golden banana. So if you have people committed to that plays a lot, are skilled, and climb step after step, and keep the higher positions, they will get rewarded with, let's say, a huge prize pool. And this is where maybe let's say some kind of patron or the scholarship could work for encouraging people to train and get better and better and keep that top spot.
Understood. We have another interesting question. So I remember at the start of this AMA, you mentioned, or we were just kind of reminiscing how Worms used to be kind of a couch multiplayer where you pass the phone around, and everyone gets a turn. How do you envision a state of the game where we could have kind of 2v2 or 3v3 where everyone kind of controls one particular worm and you get a chance to play against 3 or 2 other people? Is that something that is in the roadmap? Something you thought about?
Right. This is something that we've been asked, not so often, but is a question that sometimes pops up. And let's say we evaluated that. It could make things really complicated to have more, let's say, more players playing the same match instead of a 1v1. But as you said, one solution could be having people controlling the 3 different animals. So it's not up to you controlling all 3, but you have a 3 versus 3 players. And the other one that we have kind of planned for the mid to long term is, let's say, a team tournaments. So where you have one-on-one matches, but you play as a team. So every result you have counts in the score of your team. And in that way, you can advance to next steps. And there's also a mode we planned. We having the old Angrymals island divided between guilds. And every guild is trying to win battles to cover more and more ground. But this is something that is still, let's say, far away from an actual finalized design. So it's great to have these kind of answers because they reflect the curiosity and the needs from the community. So this is kind of moving the priority for that thing up, but this is something that is, let's say, planned for the mid to long term.
Understood.
See. Okay, I see an interesting question. So from Genatrix03, will there be a paywall for good fortress materials? How does it work? Or do we rely on building skills only? This is something interesting. Actually, I wanted to ask this myself, but someone asked this on my behalf.
Okay. Let's see if I got it correctly. So when you build a fortress, you rely on some building materials, and these are as per as per weapons, or per races, and so on. You start with a subset of them. By playing, you complete weekly or daily missions. You can find them as a reward, or you can unlock them using coins or gems. And so you will have an increased range of building blocks at your disposal. These blocks are, let's say, the same for every player, of course. They just give you more and more tools to use to build up your dream fortresses. And that will be only based on skill and your ability, your engineering skills to put together a very effective fortress.
Yeah, I think Daniel, the question was, will there be like a paywall for fortresses? So, for example, I know that the more popular a fortress is, the more it will cost to buy them on the marketplace.
Sorry, I missed that part. You're totally right. So the way it works in the marketplace is that the player do not price their own fortresses, so they don't decide the price for them. They all start from the lowest price possible, and then every day, based on how much they sell, the price increases. So you have 5 different price tiers, and depending on the total amount of fortress sold, the, let's say, most successful fortresses will increase their price in the market. This, of course, means 2 things. The first one is that the more you sell, the more you earn, because the price will be growing and growing. But on the other hand, it allows players that are creating the new fortresses to not just be, overshadowed by the others, because the new fortresses will be cheap. So if you want just to try a new one, go for the new ones, for the brand new fortresses that are cheaper and probably are as good or even better than the ones that already are successfully sold on the store.
Yeah, and I think in terms, sorry, in
sorry,
terms of
please go ahead.
Yeah, in terms of how you buy it, Daniel, like, can you buy it using coins, or you have to buy it using gems, or via the chaos shards?
It depends on the tier for the price tier for the fortress. So at the very beginning, a fortress costs like 250 coins or 10 gems. When the price increases, it kind of both of them increases. As of now, the top level fortresses can only be purchased with gems that are the hard currency. When we're going to introduce the chaos shards, so the blockchain related currency, all these price tiers will also be available with chaos shards. And in the end, we will probably refactor that so that the topmost tier for fortresses can only be purchased with shards, to make sure that the very successful fortress designers get rewarded properly.
Yep. And just to clarify on coins and gems being the soft and the hard currency, coins can be earned via normal gameplay, like doing missions and daily logins. Gems are like the premium currency that you need to pay fiat, pay real money for in the App Store in order to buy. So that is the difference.
Awesome. Okay, sounds good. Cool. We have another question here. We understand that. So I think this person understands that Catheon Gaming has 2 more games. If I'm not wrong, I think Soul Chicks and Soul Stars. Did you have anything you want to share about those games as well, or anything else to look forward to down the line?
Yeah, those games are great. I think for Soul Chicks, our mini game was just released, and for Soul Stars, our IDO is planned for the next few months. So please do keep an eye out on those 2 games. We also have a bunch of other games in the pipeline, which are very exciting. But we can discuss those at another time. We'll probably do another AMA with with you guys once those are ready for release.
Sounds good.
Great.
Sounds good.
Very great. So I think we come to the end of the interesting questions that we have. I think otherwise you can head over to Discord, their Discord, to ask them any questions related. For us, we are giving mints and white lace and offering scholarships for them as well. Do stay tuned to my Twitter, which is 0x Stanley Chia, or Dan and Ken and Jared. If you have your Twitter, you can plug them in here right now and give you a follow. We'll be offering them shortly after the release. I think for tonight, I don't have any other questions to Ken and Danielle. Do you have anything else?
No, it's good. Thank you guys so much for your time. This has been awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys, and thanks everybody for being here.
Thank you so much, everyone. Jared, do you have anything? Final guy.
No, just to echo what Stanley said again. Do stay tuned for any more updates with regards to other game partnerships, but also for scholarship giveaways and all the good stuff.
All right. I think it's a wrap for tonight. Thank you for your time, everyone. Peace out on the weekends,
Thank
man.
you, everyone.
Thank you,
Okay,
everyone.
thanks for your time. Peace out.